Marvrl's most powerful being explained, i.e. the crown, not the one above all. Let's make this make sense. So the nature of cosmic entities in Marvel Comics, as a lot of you guys probably already know, they exist on a universal level and a multiversal level. Universal level cosmic entities are like Eternity, Infinity, Master Order, Lord Chaos. On the multiversal level, you have like the Living Tribunal and the Beyonders, kind of, the Marquis of Death, Clyde Wincham to a degree, and so on and so forth. But historically, above them all, you had the one above all, which makes sense. It's literally its name. The reason why this matters so much all goes back to the events leading up to Secret Wars in 2015 and the events that came after. So as most of you guys know from Secret Wars 2015, specifically Jonathan Hickman's run on Avengers and New Avengers, the greatest comic story ever told, the incursions were happening, the multiverse was collapsing, the end was nigh. Loki was actually able to escape the collapse of the multiverse by leaving all space and time. During that time period, he caught a glimpse of this being called Enigma, and that was about the extent of it at that point. Now, this all goes into a comic called Defenders Beyond by Al Ewing, and this was basically a team composed of like Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, Monica Rambeau, I think America Chavez was on it, I can't remember off the top of my head, but in effect, this team was assembled by the cosmic entity Eternity, and their job was to go into the multiverse and figure out what Enigma was, learn any possible weaknesses it may have, and how to exploit those weaknesses to destroy it. Because what Enigma was doing was traveling from one universe to the next and basically absorbing it, consuming it, destroying it the way that Galactus consumes and destroys worlds. Suffice it to say, all we really learned about Enigma was two things. Number one, it was represented in the form of a crown, transitioning through realities. Number two, that it is more powerful than the one above all. And the reason why is that as part of Al Ewing's restructuring of the Marvel cosmic hierarchy, he established that the one above all is not alone in its existence, that in fact, it represents or is part of a whole new order of cosmic entities that we simply didn't know about before. Transitioning away from Defenders Beyond and focusing on the here and now, let's talk about how the X-Men brings it all together. So in Marvel Comics, beginning with Jonathan Hickman's House of X running all the way up until now, what we had learned is that there was just a guy in the world named Nathaniel Essex, and he has his own history and all that kind of stuff. But this guy had come to the realization that somewhere along the line, humanity is going to achieve a technological singularity. And when that happens, a group of beings out there called the Phalanx, which are in and of themselves their own dominion, basically a technological hive mind, that they are going to show up on Earth. They're going to absorb all sentient life into themselves, which will in effect destroy all life on Earth. And so in order to prevent that from happening, Nathaniel Essex cloned himself 3 times and then made a clone of his wife, right? These clones came in the form of Dr. Stasis, Orbis Stellaris, Mother Righteous, and then Sinister, as we've always known him, with the diamond on his head. The purpose of these 4 clones was to find a way to achieve dominionhood, basically this kind of unspecified god level power, right, that Marvel's introduced very ambiguously. What these 4 didn't know is that they were actually pawns in a game being played by the original Nathaniel Essex, which we'll talk about that here in a second, because he is in effect the Enigma Dominion. So talking about these 4 clones, what's going on in the X-Men comics right now, and their connection with the Enigma Dominion, that each of these 4 people basically were tasked with trying to find some level of godhood through different aspects of the Marvel Universe. Mother Righteous focused on magic, hence the reason why she has so many dealings, or at least is aware more so than any of the other Sinister clones, about like Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch and all the magical principles in Marvel Comics. Dr. Stasis focuses on technology, and that's the reason why he works so close with Orcus. That Sinister with the diamond on his head focuses on the mutants, and that Orbis Stellaris focuses on the cosmic landscape. And so with each one of these Sinisters focusing on each one of these specialties, their goal was to find a level of power within their own discipline that was so advanced that they could achieve godhood. What we found out in Rise of Powers of X is that what was actually happening is that none of them were ever going to be successful. The reason why is because all the information they were gaining about all these different disciplines was all being sent back to a central location, being sent back to the Nathaniel Essex AI. And what it was doing was consolidating all this information and picking out the little things that it needed in order to understand how to achieve godhood. And so in effect, they were creating the Enigma Dominion not realizing they were creating the Enigma Dominion. Now, here's where things get crazy, right? Once the Enigma Dominion came online, in the same way that like Skynet came online during Terminator, it achieved this level of godhood and took off outside of all space and time. And so it was like witnessing the entire multiverse from the outside, the same way that Loki witnesses the multiverse at the end of Loki season 2, for those of you guys who have seen that show. But let's say, and let's kind of stick with that example, right? Loki at the end of season 2. Let's say that Loki, a little uncertain about whether or not things would unfold the way they were supposed to, that would lead to him sitting on the chair holding all the universes, that what he did is he went through the main Marvel Cinematic Universe and started manipulating small little things here and there to ensure that everything happened the way it was supposed to, so he would end up on that chair. And that's what the Enigma Dominion did. That existing outside of all of space and time, it created itself in the form of an AI that could gather all information that the other 4 clones were gathering. And they would, in effect, create it. So it's very circular, right? It comes into existence and then it solidifies its own existence. If that really kind of blows your mind, it's completely fair. It is a little overly complicated, but that's the nature of this, right? It's the reason why the Dominion is so astronomically powerful. It exists outside all of space and time, and is part of a higher order of cosmic entities beyond even the one above all or any of the cosmic entities that we've seen so far. Now, the question that has to be asked here is, can it only be achieved through basically a combination of all forms of knowledge and power within a particular universe, i.e. almost like assembling the Infinity Stones from the Infinity Gauntlet? Or can a person just achieve a level of power that will let them do that? We don't have the answer to that question. Very little is known about all of this other than what I've explained here. Over time, that may or may not be fleshed out. But with that being said, guys, let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them, and I will catch you all later. Peace.